listening to or watching SummerSlam, you would have seen a lot of people must watch JD Sports because that was happening after every 2 count. Hi, welcome to JD Sports. What up? I'm Jared Hood. That's Dwight. You can follow our personal Twitters at the show's Twitter page, which is @_JD Sports. If you're watching on YouTube, you probably saw the clip, but how do you listen on SoundCloud?
Hit soundcloud.com/JD Sports Show to listen to the podcast.
Dwight?
What's up?
Before I ask how your weekend is, what's up with the Kobe shirt? Any reason or just because you wanted to wear a Kobe shirt today?
No, it really has nothing to do with Kobe. I just want to wear a purple shirt just because we're going to a Prince tribute show this week.
Oh, we are. That's going to be very exciting.
This is the only purple shirt I have.
I saw a really cool
shirt
Prince.
I'm going to watch.
I'm not going to buy it before we go, but eventually I'm going to buy a Prince t-shirt. I saw a very cool Prince t-shirt over the weekend.
It's fantastic.
Literally
just the only reason.
Okay.
I was like, purple. Right. I didn't know what else to wear.
Okay. No, I'm not against it. I get down with Kobe Bean as well as Prince, so I like all reasons. So, how was your weekend?
It was cool. It was alright.
Relaxing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just chilled, really.
We did catch SummerSlam together, so that was pretty fun. We will definitely get into that.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, last week, Dwight, we talked a lot about the NFL coming down on Zeke Elliott. I thought it was actually a really good segment between the both of us.
Yep.
The man that you were throwing, and not just you, this is how everyone does it, and this is rightfully so. He gets the pie in the face every time. Rodger Goodell, especially not with just this situation, well, a lot of situations. You would think he doesn't have as much support as he used to. He used to have a lot of support from the owners, but you know his biggest supporters were the Giants owner, the Cowboys owner, Jerry Jones, as well as the Patriots owner, Robert Kraft, and Goodell in the league have gone after the Patriots and the Cowboys, two of their best players over the last couple of years. But even with that said, he must have more support than we think because it sounds like reports are, as of the show, a 5-year contract coming up for him. And I would like to get into a topic with you.
I don't understand that. But
I think this just kind of shows the league is trying to kind of show, hey, we're standing our ground. We can't wait to get into these negotiations here coming up in, 2 years? Not this season, but after the end of next season, if I'm not mistaken. DeMaurice Smith, the PA, the NFL Players Association, he's the vice president of them. He said he basically thinks it's inevitable, quote unquote, that there will be a work stoppage. Now, you said last week you think there will be a work stoppage as well.
Yep.
I'm on the other side of it. The league, it's like the casinos in Vegas. I mean, the league has all the money right now, and there's no way that it makes no sense for there to be a work stoppage because according to the Players Association, the average career is 3.5 if you get on a roster right out of college, your first year out of college as a rookie. If you play week 1, or not play week 1, if you're on a 52-man roster in week 1, you play 3.5 years. Now the NFL claims that it's 6.5 years. They can't even agree on the actual average of. So I don't know what the real thing is. I'm sure studies will probably get there. I don't think it's that high either. I think it would probably be closer to 3.5 years. That would make more sense. On top of that, so they can't even agree with that, and we both are automatically just standing aside. Neither of us did any data think the NFL would be the ones lying on that. So this is how ridiculous this can get, but at the same time, it doesn't matter if they're lying or not. They have all the money, they have all the chips, and even though, because you said last time you thought the work stoppage was going to happen because they want to take power away from Goodell, but the reason the power got into Goodell was because
giving it back to him.
The reason I don't think that they are going to be a work stoppage over that is because when they signed that deal, guys like Tom Brady did not think they would ever have to be dealing with Rodger Goodell the way they were. Guys like Ray Rice did not think they were going to be dealing with Rodger Goodell the way they were. Now he still won his case, but same thing. Guys like Pac-Man Jones did, so he was down for that. But very rarely is there a player in for 2 negotiations. So my point is why would Marcus Colston from Susquehanna Township, local kid, he was not around for 2 CBAs. He was only around for 1. So why would he want to fight for giving Goodell less power? That man never got in trouble, never thought he was going to get in trouble. So to him, why would I care how much power he has if I do something wrong? I'm not going to do anything wrong, so my money will never get taken away from me. The only way my money actually gets taken away from me is if we don't play these next couple weeks because that means I'm not getting a paycheck, and the only time these guys get paid is during the 16-week season, and then they get paid bonuses in the playoffs. But they don't get paid for preseason, they don't get paid for the off-season workouts. All that is voluntary. The mandatory ones are just, you're not getting paid for it. You only get paid for week 1 through 16. So why would the left tackle for the Cowboys? Why would?
I mean, you're individualizing this. I don't think it's an individual basis. This is why I think there is going to be.
What do you think the percentages are higher though? Do you think the percentages are higher guys like Ezekiel Elliott that got in trouble? Or do you think the
I don't think that has anything to do with it, dude. You're trying to individualize it, which is the route I'm going with. What I think is going to happen is I don't think it has anything to do with okay, well, if I don't get in trouble, I don't care if he's in power. I think it's the opposite route, and we can disagree. That's cool, whatever. I think it's the opposite route. I think it's more so just a general vibe of I don't like the way he's handling. Okay, you got in trouble. You're my boy. I don't like the fact that he did it this way. I don't like how he handles things in general. I disagree with how he handled these situations. He did this really badly. He didn't do this well. He didn't do this situation well at all. And now, I think it's that perspective. I don't think it's necessarily by individual basis. I think it might be, and we're just talking out our ass, both of us.
Yeah.
I think it's just a broad thing where I'm looking at it saying, you know what, maybe in general we could just use something new in here. But clearly, if this man is really getting an extension like they're claiming, clearly both of us have no idea what we're talking about because he's getting
the
an
owners
extension.
like it, and the owners are okay with it. And honestly, outside of Alex Rodriguez and Kobe Bryant, nobody made more money than Rodger Goodell in American sports over the last 10 years. So it looks on the side of why wouldn't he care to keep doing this? He was the famous line is him walking out in Chicago for the third round of the NFL draft the first time it was outside of New York, and him saying this is welcome to the third day of the draft, and right before they started booing he stopped them and said I'm waiting for it, and he leaned into the microphone with a smile because this man's getting paid $200 million over the last 10 years to get that pie in the face, and he's loving it, and he's going to troll us to the end of it.
That's the thing.
I understand what you would say, and I understand why you would think Dak Prescott would be like, you know what, I'm going to fight because that was not fair what happened to Zeke Elliott, or Julian Edelman saying, you know what, that was not fair what happened to Tom Brady. But the way I look at it is
the same reason they want to impeach the president. Some people want to impeach the president, not necessarily because he's impacting me per se, but I don't like some of the things you're doing.
I understand what you, and I don't disagree with that as well. But like I said, just the side of it is that I feel like the working bees, the Jake Longs of the NFL, the Aaron Rodgers of the NFL, the guys that you never hear of them getting in any kind of trouble, they're making more money by not missing games than they are by fighting for something that they feel like they're never going to have a problem with. And I know what you, and I also saw your side of it. My other thought on the whole thing is they're going to have to do it in pieces because they gave up power in pieces. So the way to get power back, you're going to have to do it in pieces. But the only way I think you can do that, you don't want to lose money. So I don't know how they're going to be able to go across it, even if there is a work stoppage. They got absolutely dismantled in these negotiations back when they were first at NFLPA back in the early 80s, mid 80s, early 90s, late 90s, and then even into the last 3 negotiations here since 2000. They got worked pretty hard up until about 2 negotiations ago. So now they're just starting to go in this opposite trend. In the last negotiation, they got worked pretty hard at the end. So the way to get power back is you have to do it by little piece, because that's how the owner took your that's how the owners took your power. I just don't look. I'm just going to say I don't get why he's getting an extension. It's wild to me. I really think because the owners are okay with this. The owners are they don't mind that he's doing this.
I understand that you're saying that. And I understand that that's obviously what's going on. But
who looks like the bad guy, Jerry Jones or Rodger Goodell today?
I'm saying I am shocked that more people aren't just saying, you know what, just in general, because I feel like it's been nothing but negative since this man has been, not just from a player's perspective, but I don't
think it's been since this man's been in
I feel like just in general, it's just been negative after negative after negative, and it's just been like, why would you not want to get out of that? And I thought that was just a general feeling amongst everybody. Clearly, that's not the case if this man's getting on a damn contract. I'm shocked by it. I don't understand it. I personally don't like it, even though it don't impact my ass. But it's weird to me. I don't get it.
I truly believe that if you separated all the good things he did and all the bad things he did, while all the bad things he did are really, really bad, he did a lot of very good things in the early stages of his career. Now, later in his career, at this point, I would say, even though you did good things at the front half of your career, your bad is outweighing your good today. So as a fan perspective or as a player perspective, yes, I'm totally understanding of why you would want him out. But as an owner perspective, and this is the Eagles owner, this is the Cowboys owner, this is the Chargers owner, this is the Raiders owner, this is every single owner in the league. All 32 of them have to agree on him getting this extension. Mm-hmm. If one of them says no, then he does not get it. And they all sound like they're going to agree on it. So this is on all of them. But they absolutely love that he gets the pie in the face and that
clearly.
Robert Kraft looked like the good guy last summer and last season. even though people don't like the Patriots, there was still a good amount of people who were like, I kind of like that he has to hand him and Brady the trophy. Like, a lot of people were still saying, well, on the upside of this is now...
No, you were only saying that, but...
There was a lot of people saying that. But, okay, well, my point
everybody
is...
hates everything
I understand what you're saying.
You're the only one that enjoyed that.
But my point is, and I didn't really necessarily enjoy it, I just thought that was a cool aspect of it. But my thing is...
That was you.
But Kraft looked like the good guy. Jerry Jones.
Yeah, the owners love that. I'm sure.
The way
in general,
the way Jerry Jones handled the situation kind of before the Ezekiel, he doesn't look as good as the good guy as Kraft, but he still doesn't look as bad as Goodell does. Goodell is still taking the biggest pie in the face, and the rest of the owners are absolutely okay with this, obviously, because it keeps the pressure off that. Look. Even though the NCAA, I call them out as being the most corrupt thing in American sports, the NFL is also... All these sports are corrupt in some way, shape, or form, and the NFL is right up there with some of the most corrupt. And we're not blaming the owners of the NFL for hiding concussions. We're blaming Rodger Goodell and the Shield for doing it, even though the owners were the biggest part of that. Do you know what I mean? So we're holding somebody else accountable, and the owners are loving that we're holding that guy accountable, so they will pay him another $200 million over the next 5 years to take 10 more pies in the face, to take more hits to the head.
We'll see.
He'll be able to go retire and live on his own island after 5 years. Yeah, and I absolutely agree. I think it will happen because I honestly do believe, and maybe they put the information out there to try to get the feel of everybody, and the backlash will be enough before they actually sign some kind of thing on ink that they, take it away. I just don't see it. I think that the owners are absolutely in love with that he will stand there and just get, kicked in the face, and he'll be the guy in the dunk tank for the next 5 years if you give him that kind of money. And I mean, honestly, I would too.
I was personally ready for change, like Adam Silver, and just have something new that actually seems to work, but that's just me. I was looking for a breath of fresh air, I guess, in NFL, and I'm not getting it, apparently. Like, to me, Adam Silver, even though he's a goofball, but because he's just weird, but he at least is different, and he's trying to do different things and, be, I don't know, modern.
In the words of the great poet, Tupac Shakur, I see no changes. Do you think that there's going to be a way for the players to maintain money? Like, the way the NFL is going, right? Because we talk a lot, and we talked about it a lot last year, and I brought it up, and I'm just saying is a lot. How youth football is going to have to go in a different direction in the next 5-10 years because women our age who are, that's where the young children are mostly happening, or between women our age and a little younger. They're all seeing this on TV, that every single brain that is getting examined after death is now having brain trauma, no matter if they played for 5 years from the time they were 10 to 15 or if they played from the time they were 15 to the time they were 25. It's still affecting every single player's brains, even if they played for 1 year or 10 years type thing. So
Do I think what?
do you think that with the owners seeing the direction of that going, that they at least have some kind of worry that the NFL is going to change in some 5 to 10 years? Look, you can look with baseball. Baseball, the youth absolutely went the opposite direction of baseball in the last 25 years, and look at baseball today. It's not the most. It's the least popular sport in America. Well, I mean, it's still probably above hockey, but not my point. It used to be the most popular. Now it's the third most popular. So my point is the NFL sees that, okay, basketball is going to be the next thing. Soccer might be the next thing, even though there is studies that say that soccer is not too much safer than football, even though it's a little safer. So my thing is do you think the owners see that coming and say, all right, well, we got to get ours now, and the guy who's been getting ours, because there's no question that the money-wise, the revenue under Rodger Goodell has expanded 5 times the amount than it ever has, and quicker, on a bigger pace than any other commissioner. Do you think that this is why they might do the 5-year extension, like instead of looking at it in the sense of all of us, for the fans, analysts, players, personnel, instead of looking at it from that direction, do you think the owners are really only worried about that end dollar at the end of the day? And
well, of course, first of all, yeah, of course.
But do you think that that's what this is the extension of, most likely?
Worry about the future of the NFL is what you're asking?
I'm saying because now would be the time to get your money, right? You're going to have to sign another deal in the next
Right.
5 years with
But-
TV contract. So that's going to be your biggest contract ever, and it's going to probably start trending in the other direction after that, because if the football stops, because 10 years after that would be players who are playing youth football right now.
Yeah, well, then that would be
It's dwindling.
that would be good business today, but it'll be bad if you're an owner of these teams,
That's what I'm asking.
then that's stupid.
You're dumping in for today to salvage not worry about the future.
No, that's not what you.
Because none of these owners are going to be around 20 years from now.
That's not what you call good business. That's not how
At least
you run a business. That's why you would go with a fresh face like an Adam Silver type guy, and then first of all, I think that this whole we're losing youth to football. Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I think it's happening. I think it's not as big as what people are saying it is.
It went down 27% just in 1 year.
I just don't buy it.
That's a lot.
Well, is that...
That's a lot.
Is that the entire country?
Yes.
Based on, where are these numbers coming from?
The amount of kids that signed up, percentages of being born in that year to the year that they'd be eligible to play football.
That's wild to me because I still just don't see it. I agree that the number's going to go down, and I think obviously
I think they should just play 7-on-7 until they're.
I'm saying if that really
14 years old.
Whatever. I mean, if that really is the number, well, that's a whole nother level of crazy. But
send the bigger kids.
I just don't buy it because I think football's still gonna be a thing. I don't think it's going anywhere. At least not soon. I don't think it's
going anywhere. Baseball doesn't go anywhere.
Because kids still give a crap about it.
And the Little League World Series is still a really big deal, even though youth baseball is probably at its lowest numbers ever.
The inner cities still care about basketball and they care about football. And I don't think that's going to change.
I don't disagree with that at all.
I don't think it's going to transfer over to soccer. I don't think it's going to transfer over to whatever other sport they think it's going to be. I think that's still going to be a thing. Back to your original point, if I think these owners are really just doing that, I would hope not, because like I said, that's just bad business. You don't plan for tomorrow. You plan for the future. And considering these owners own these teams for decades, you would think that they'd be thinking that.
Well, my thought is all of the owners right now are the average age of ownership is the highest it's been in the last 20 years. So all of them, I'm pretty sure, are over 64 years old. So in 20 years, even if they own the team anymore, it's either going to be owned by their kids and they're not going to be running it, or they've sold it by them. So they're not going to care about those contracts in 20 years. And that was my thought: are they just dumping everything right now? Because they all can look at each other and say, you know what? We can just make our money today, because we don't have to worry about our money in 20 years. We'll leave that to them. We'll leave it to whoever has it. Some of them are probably not going to say that because they want to keep it to their kids. The Rooneys want to keep handing it off to their kids. Jerry Jones wants to keep handing it off to his kids. I'm sure Jeffrey Lurie wants to hand it off to his kids.
But I don't buy that. No, I don't. That's how we would think that might be happening, but that's not how billionaires think. Billionaires are thinking future. That's not how Mark Cuban thinks. That's not how Jerry Jones thinks.
Mark Cuban is of a different mindset than Jerry Jones. That's my exact point. Mark Cuban's only 57 years old. Jerry Jones is 74.
And my point is, billionaires have a different mindset than you and I.
I agree.
I don't think age. I don't think age really has anything to do with it, for real. Because the older they are, the more that they care about their team and they want to keep it going. They care more so about the legacy of everything than anything. So I would think that they will. Yeah, I want to make sure that this is stable and that it's good for you. Okay, I'm giving it to my son. I want to make sure it's good for the next 10 years. A la Jerry Buss. That's why you want to give it to the Genies.
The Raiders owner is 62, I'm pretty sure. Mark Davis, I think he's only in the early 60s. And the Jags owner, I forgot. He's in his early 60s as well. Speaking of the Jags owner, he was all in on Blake Bortles. I thought Blake Bortles was going to be half decent.
Did you give that up yet?
That he's going to be half decent? Yeah,
Just saying. College means absolutely nothing. Can we stop hyping these people up to come out of college? Can we relax?
No, because look at Dak Prescott last year. Everyone was hyping him up.
Look
at Carson Wentz.
I don't think
RG3. Look at
who the hell hyped up Dak Prescott?
And look at after preseason. Don't you remember he was coming out? Remember we both made the joke. I said that he was going to be the next Troy Aikman. And he said he was going to be the next Joe Montana because of the way people are talking. Do you remember that? That's how we opened up.
I remember Skip Bayless saying that.
Do you remember we were joking?
I remember it being a joke, yeah. I remember Skip Bayless saying
because
that.
Everyone was deeming him as so good.
I don't know who everybody is, but...
RG3, Andrew Luck, Cam Newton, Jameis Winston.
I'm hearing a lot of stuff that didn't work out.
I'm just saying.
I don't consider a year working out. Can we just relax on these damn rookies? Just wait and see. Blake Bortles. Oh, but he was so good in college. Congratulations. Good for you.
College. I think he had a good year with USF.
So? There's a big so by that.
I think he had really good mechanics. Here's my thing.
So
He is-
so did Tim Tebow.
I
Oh
think
wait,
he's
he
lost
never had
his
the mechanics
mechanics.
either.
I think he's lost mechanics. Yeah, Tebow had good mechanics. It's like the other stuff is kind of, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
This is why I hate that we hype up college kids. It's stupid to me. Just relax. Let it simmer.
I mean, I know Dwight would say
Let it simmer.
everybody that comes in the league has to like do something or like they. This is how it goes. This is how it's been forever. This is how like
That's
that's since day one.
I'm not saying don't be hype and don't be excited about something, but you know,
That's all.
oh, he's so good. Oh, but what did he do in college? So what?
But for everyone that's busted, there's been as many examples that have not. Look at Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was drafted second overall, and he ends up destroying everything people thought he was going to be. But in the same exact year, Ryan Leaf was supposed to be expected to be as good. They went absolute opposite direction, had the same amount of hype. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you pretty much just solidified my point.
So it's
just
50-50.
wait and see
But
what happens.
But or you could just get excited and maybe you get to Peyton Manning.
Or you can just be Philadelphia and always just get excited, then realize, why did we get excited again?
Last three quarterbacks Philly got excited for: Donovan McNabb, Mike Vick, Carson Wentz, and I think
I
they've
wasn't
done pretty
talking
well
about
so
just
well.
that.
Um,
Alright. Relax.
Back to Blake Bortles.
It's going to be the same thing with Lonzo in a minute.
I like Lonzo.
He likes all college kids.
Not all. Not all.
Okay. You like all college kids with quote unquote character.
Yes.
Can we call that a fact?
If I think that they come out and I
Do
think
this,
they handle
do the
the
money
spot.
signs. You all over that type of shit.
Yeah, I loved it.
Were you all in fourth with that?
No, because I thought Russell Wilson was going to be better than RG3. That's my biggest claim to fame is I had Russell Wilson going to be better than RG3 in the NFL. And I mean, boom, I have an article online, Hood Tunnel, you can go check it out, back in the day. And it's just me explaining about how I thought Andrew Luck was a clear-cut number one in that draft. But I thought that people were ridiculous for going with RG3. And I was really glad, as an Eagles fan, that the Redskins were all about RG3. Because I was like, yo, y'all can keep sleeping on my man Russell Wilson. And Russ, look at my man Russ out here.
Now you got 1 out of 4.
I'm
I'm proud of you.
I mean, I do all right. Guys like Dez, like I knew Dez was gonna be. I was telling every Eagles fan, y'all are sleeping on Dez because they all thought Dez was gonna be a clown just because he was an idiot off the field. Like Ezekiel Elliott, I talk about how he's a really good player. Like I mean, I Jameis Winston. Like I have as many. You know how high was I on Jameis? Look at Cam Newton, bro. Like
That's not a name to drop it right now anymore.
he went to a Super Bowl. Like you can't. How many seriously? How many quarterbacks playing in the league today went to a Super Bowl? You can't tell me that is not enough to solidify him as a top 15 quarterback in the NFL.
I'm saying.
What are you considering bust and not bust? He was the number one overall number one overall pick in the draft and went to the Super Bowl. So that I mean that's
just stop. Okay, you can stop missing the point now.
well. What's the point? I'm trying to figure out what you were mad about Cam for. Why should I drop that?
Why are you so defensive? Well, first of all,
Because you said I'm
calm
0 for
down.
4, and I'm just trying to explain that you hit as much as you miss. That's part of the business.
I hate
That's
when
what
you
we
use certain
do.
words. I forgot it's LeBron and Cam Newton, or vice versa.
That's
Depends
what
on
we
the
do.
day. I forgot. Because nobody's really talking about Cam, and he's like, well, Cam, change your mechanics, please. Don't get hurt. Like,
Please don't get hurt. I'm
I'm not
with
saying
you
he's
about
bad.
that.
I'm not even
I
saying
know.
the man was
I
bad.
know
So
that.
relax. I just said I want to be
I was just asking.
excited about saying Cam Newton's name nowadays.
But my point is as many as I get wrong, you get right as well. It's what I mean. Look at Mel Kiper. Look at Tom McShay. Look at that's what the whole that's the
I
point.
mean, I
That's
wouldn't
the
drop
fun.
those names because I don't pay attention to those
But
clowns either.
my point, like and you just don't like it, but like it's just fun for people like them and myself. Like I find this to be very fun to try to see if you think a player's going to actually be good or not and work out or not. And I like
And it's all
attaching
based
myself
on
to players
zero.
and it makes me happy when you see somebody that you think is going to be good actually fulfill those expectations. And it's not fun to watch a guy like Blake Bortles struggle. Well, I literally sat down and
I
watched
didn't say it was fun.
No, I know what you mean, but what I'm saying is like, so just as fun as it is for me to see a guy like Russell Wilson exceed and do what he did and is doing at this level because I was right on him, it is also not fun for me to sit there and a guy like Blake Bortles, who I thought had good talent around him, was getting... I think that he had one of the best wide receiver groups 2 years ago. No, Allen Robinson, Marquise Lee.
Yeah, I remember you being high on Jacksonville.
They had very good wide receiver cores the last 2 years, and he was just not hitting his wide receivers, even on open passes. And I feel like they finally got a running back this year, so you would think this would give him confidence. But I watched the cool thing the NFL's doing on their Facebook page and on their internet page now. They're showing you every pass from every quarterback. So like you could just click on Blake Bortles and you'll see every pass from him in the preseason. So you don't have to sit down and watch these games no more. Now you can just sit down and if you want to analyze an individual player, every rush from Leonard Fournette, every rush from McCaffrey, every time.
It's a whole another level of nerd now.
So it's pretty cool you can do that. So I went back and I watched every Blake Bortles pass, and
Of course
I mean
of course you did.
he's missing open receivers.
He's garbage. This is
And-
what you know what annoys me.
But the things that he wasn't garbage on before,
Ignore me.
the things that he wasn't garbage on before,
Mm-hmm.
he's now becoming garbage on. Like he's now missing open
This is what I
receivers.
don't
He's
get.
not
Like,
hitting
people
people in
like-
the flat like he was able to.
After that game, they were saying the next day I was listening to people talking that talk about sports, quote unquote experts. They were like, "Oh, it's so disappointing." They said he had a disappointing game, and I was just like, "He didn't have a disappointing game. He had a Blake Bortles game. He's not good. I never thought he was any good personally. That was just my opinion, and he's not right now. He's just to me. I was just like this. No, he played Blake Bortles football. In the NFL, whatever. If you want to clarify that, that's cool. But he had what was disappointing about it? He went out there and did Blake Bortles. Like, what were they expecting?
If
that was disappointing, what is he going to do when he's not disappointing?
He wasn't out here missing open receivers 2 years ago, and he slowly has regressed. And I think that's more what they mean. He looks like he's just more rattled.
Is he looking like he's done?
Game. Yes, and I think that's what a lot of people are getting at. Look, I'm not ever going to sit here and tell you
2 years late on that.
I'm not ever going to sit here and say a player is done off a preseason game. But to your point, when did Blake Bortles ever start? He only was flashes in the pans. He never actually put together a full individually good season.
No, not even close.
So when you have teams like the Jets who look like they're basically tanking for.
Speaking of trash, holy shit!
I know, and I thought that Hackenberg should get a shot, but he looked really bad in preseason as well. I thought that he should at least get a shot because I didn't know who else what they're going to do on that roster. I mean, Bryce Petty, him. I don't really know who else you could just throw out there as their quarterback. He looks really bad in preseason apparently as well. I watched 4 or 5 of his plays.
I've seen exactly 0 plays of it, but everything that I've heard and just the numbers of it.
I know, everyone's been saying it's bad.
Garbage.
And the Eagles play them the last game of the preseason. Not like any starter from the Eagles is going to play that game because they
nobody's playing. Probably all the stars of the Jets. They're trying to figure out who's playing.
Do they have starters?
That's the joke. Yeah.
They just start with a second string team, I assume. Look, I seriously think if they don't win a game in their first 4 games, they really could go 0-16 because the rest of their roster is really, or the rest of their schedule is really, really tough. Anyways, so you have them. Oh, hey, I mean Blake Bortles. So the Jaguars having difficulty at quarterback. There is a quarterback out there that could possibly help you win a couple games, especially since you don't know if Andrew Luck's going to play for the Colts. So the division could be wide open because Mariota's good, but he got hurt last year.
He's very good.
If you don't remember, he did get hurt last year, so that could keep the door wide open. The AFC's not all that. It's hard, but it's really. I mean, you could sneak into a wild card spot if you just had the right quarterback with your really good running back and your good wide receivers. Jay Cutler? Oh no, he got signed by the other team in Florida. So Jay Cutler's not available. I apologize. That's who I was thinking of.
Damn, if there was only a name, there was only a talent out there, and if there was only a guy that went to the Super Bowl. There was only a guy.
Thad Young, but Thad Young got picked up by the Ravens. I think you're thinking of him.
Thaddeus Young?
Yeah, he got picked up by the Ravens.
I thought he played for the Sixers.
Different Thad Young.
I don't know a Thad Young other than that. Damn, I'm drawing blanks.
Tim Tebow?
No, he's a baseball all-star now.
I wouldn't call him an all-star, but he's getting there.
He's going to be in a home run derby. That's funny. Damn. Who's out there? David Carr? No.
Donovan McNabb.
I would never put money on him, but...
No. All right.
Brett Favre?
Favre.
Take off the Wrangler jeans and...
Can you
unretire?
Can you unretire after you're in the Hall of Fame?
He probably would. He'd break the bust.
Who would you take right now, Blake Bortles or Peyton Manning? Today.
Peyton Manning. Is that a rhetorical question?
Today?
Was that
right
a serious
now.
question?
2017.
Is that a serious question? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No matter how garbage Peyton Manning was, I'll take garbage Peyton Manning over just garbage.
Can Rodger Goodell come in and save the Jaguars as the quarterback? Be a fan favorite. Turn his reputation around?
David Stern trying to save the Clippers once. I'm just saying. Is there a guy that is... I think his name starts with a K.
McGregor's been working out a lot lately.
He's trying to be a boxer. I don't think he'll be a football player.
He's transitioned to
He's
sports. He
barely
goes
a
from sport to
boxer.
sport.
He's barely
He
a
goes from
boxer.
sport to sport. He's proven that right now. So maybe he'll be his next sport will be football. I mean, he can't be worse than Blake Bortles, can he?
No. Talking about Colin Kaepernick. Is that who we're talking about? Is that who we're implying?
Who's Colin Kaepernick?
Some guy with an afro.
Cool.
Made a lot of people angry.
Speaking of him,
You know what's funny?
they're holding a rally outside of the NFL offices sometime this week for him. I don't know if that's going to help his case, and I don't really know who's putting this rally together, but they spelled his name wrong on the pamphlet. Spike Lee took a picture and put it on Instagram, didn't realize they spelled his name wrong on the pamphlet.
You know what's funny? You tweeted about how you thought the Jaguars should go after Kaepernick.
Yes.
Literally, earlier in that day, I actually went and I was like, I wonder what their career stats look like matchup. And guess, of course, who has way easier to better numbers career-wise, just from a ratio perspective, everything.
Yes.
It's clear to Kaepernick, and I was like, but people say he sucks. But Blake Bortles has a job.
But that's the thing is,
This is the argument I don't understand.
even when I was not on
Garbage
Kaepernick,
has jobs, but he don't have a job, and it's because he quote sucks. No, it's not. Are we done with that?
I never thought Kaepernick was like a top. I thought that in that first couple years he was overrated, but now I thought that he slowly became underrated. I thought he was somewhere right in the middle of where that became. Blake Bortles is not in the middle of that. That's the thing. Blake Bortles is at the lower end.
Right.
Kaepernick
That's
is
my point.
much higher than him and better than that. And I don't.
But he doesn't have a job. But Blake Bortles does.
Kaepernick would probably excel a little bit because your offensive line wasn't that good. That's also what hurts Blake Bortles. He gets sacked a lot. Guess who can run the ball? Colin Kaepernick. So if you get a mobile quarterback in there, Colin Kaepernick, with your wide receivers, with Leonard Fournette being your running back, you really have an opportunity to open something up. But Jay Cutler is signed by the Bears, or I mean by the Dolphins. So
Yeah, speaking of garbage, like, come on, man. I don't get it. Just keep adding points to this Colin Kaepernick thing on our side.
you know a team that needs a quarterback as well. Not saying they should go after Kaepernick because they have a really bad. They have two
Dolphins
quarterbacks.
need a quarterback.
Well, they have Jay Cutler. I like Cutler. I don't like Cutler to be your starter in 2017 and take you to the playoffs. But I mean, I think that he's just fine for what they're going for this year.
I had a joke I can't say on air. Alright.
Denver may have whiffed.
Oh, we going back to this hype thing that I said I don't like?
Trevor Siemian. Who's the other quarterback they have?
My point. Mark Sanchez?
No.
I really don't know.
I'm looking at his face right now. The young kid. They drafted.
Oh, Savage. No,
No.
he's on Houston.
He was on
Macho
Houston.
Man. Yeah.
They had Osweiler.
Where is he now? I forget.
Cleveland. He's going to back up
Cleveland,
Deshaun
that's
Kaiser
right.
this year probably.
I'm so behind on my football.
Sean Kleiser played for Notre Dame. Hey, sidetrack. Notre Dame. Last year they're saying
Trigger word.
they're saying that
You have so many trigger words.
Ryan Kelly was distracted last year, the head coach, and that's why they ended up doing what they're doing. I promise you, if he's distracted near as much this year, they need to fire him because, like, what do you mean you were distracted? You're the head coach of Notre Dame. Like, there's one focus and one focus going on only.
That's a
Jason
joke.
Garrett, the coach of the Cowboys, probably wasn't distracted last year. That's why his team did pretty well. You're kind of like that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like your job, you're supposed to. Yeah, okay. So let's try not to let that happen again. Back to
You think other than getting a flag behind us, you think we can get like a list and put like Jared's trigger words behind us?
Notre Dame.
You can put like a top 10 of your trigger words and top things that annoy me. That'd be so cool. I think it'd be funny.
I don't have much expectations for them
Guess
this
that's
year.
a no.
I don't like. I hope that they do better than last year, but back to Denver. So Trevor Siemian is probably going to be the quarterback next year because they whipped on the other guy. I'm drawing a blank on his name, and I'm really mad about this. And I wrote it down. I scribbled everything out earlier, and I had to rewrite.
Let's
it
get
down.
excited about college players and we can't remember.
I was actually never excited about Paxton Lynch is his name. I was never excited about Paxton Lynch. Man, that was haunting me. I was never excited about Paxton Lynch as the starter. I thought that it was odd that they took him in the first round 2 years ago. And it sounds like he's not even going to make it out of training camp this year as the starter. He's going to be the backup. So they don't. And Trevor Siemian's not a liable starter in the NFL either. So like Denver is in a whirlwind of a situation when you have a Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes, not to be confused with Ginger Mahomes. The Canadian Indian.
I got it.
I
got it. I was just ignoring it.
But in that division, you have the Chiefs, who have two quarterbacks that at least one for the next 2 years or this year at least, and then another one for hopefully with Andy Reid and his history with quarterbacks. You would think a couple years with Mahomes. And then you look at Carr. You look at also down in Houston or what am I talking about? We're in the West, the AFC West. Who else am I missing? Denver. Oakland. There's another team. Chiefs. Denver, Oakland, Chiefs. Who am I missing? Chargers. Oh, well, Phillip Rivers. I don't know what they're going to do future quarterback. But either way,
apparently they're keeping Phillip Rivers
at least
forever.
for the next 2 years, you have a guy who, even though I'm not a Phillip Rivers fan, is better than your quarterback. So
Yeah.
you are now the worst quarterback team in that division with probably the best defense in the NFL, if not top 5 best defense in the NFL, because again, you have 2 of the top 5 corners in the NFL. And if you have corners, which is the hardest position to have in the NFL, you have a lot. What is Denver going to do you think, in the future? Like, if you lose a bunch of games, then you're wasting this good defense with Von Miller and your good secondary.
Yeah.
And if you win a bunch of games, you will never get that franchise quarterback you were looking for, outside of maybe hoping to get like a Phillip Rivers at the back end of his deal, or I don't even know who. Like, how do you don't get a free agent quarterback in the NFL because they don't become free agents in the NFL? Like, that's for a reason.
Well, LA's. Oh, what's up?
I got an idea. Jimmy Garoppolo. Kirk Cousins. But he's going to the Niners apparently.
Kirk Cousins. Yeah.
Apparently he's going to the Niners next year.
No, he's just gonna be a redshirt for the
Is
rest
him
of
and
his
LeBron
career.
are him and LeBron teaming up to move from the East Coast to West Coast together? Is Kirk Cousins and LeBron in cahoots?
Well, we know LeBron is a staying in Cleveland. He never was.
Well, apparently Blake Griffin thinks LeBron's going to the Knicks. Is that just because Blake Griffin doesn't want LeBron to play for the Lakers? Because he just definitely doesn't want the Clippers to be the little brothers forever anymore. That's a different topic for a different
Magic
day.
Johnson made him the little
Do
brothers
you
forever. Which is
think
funny.
Denver can figure out the quarterback situation? Because you can't ride with Trevor Siemian. Or do you think Trevor Siemian's good enough? I mean, I guess this is a wait-and-see year.
No, I don't think Trevor Siemian is good enough. I think Denver's going back to the drawing board. They're going to have to, I don't know, draft somebody next year. They're going to have to hope that they get it right next time, and just don't.
So with Khalib, do you trade Khalib?
John Elway's going to have to be like, you know what, lesson learned. This, like, I bought into the hype, and then I got rid of the hype, and then I bought into a whole different other hype, and, you know, maybe lesson learned. Maybe stick with something. You know, I mean, it's not his fault. What's his name left in the first place?
Absolutely.
Osweiler. Yeah,
and
it's
he was
not
the
necessarily
future.
his fault, but
he was the future.
But they didn't really try everything in their
how
power
bad
to
did he
keep
turn
them.
out too? How bad? Well, they didn't want to pay him all that money because they didn't think he was that good.
How bad did he turn out when he left?
I understand.
He was good where
in
he
their system.
was, right? And I think he would have
did
kept
lose
being.
2 games down the stretch though at the end there, and that's why they put Manning back in.
I think he would have kept being good where he was in that situation. Yeah, and now they just regressed something ridiculous.
So
because John Elway went hype train, and this is where they're at now. They're no train.
Von Miller looks at what, 5 more years at the level he's at, if that.
Not even.
And you got Talib, who's got another year or 2 at the level he's at, and you have another good corner on the other end. So do you start trading these guys off to try to get worse and lose some games and get some good young players in return? Because your defense is really solid.
And they're going to keep being solid.
They went to the Super Bowl that year with 2 different quarterbacks playing throughout the year. That's how good their defense was. And their defense won that game for them in particular. They stopped an offense that was putting up a lot of points in the recent weeks.
They're going to keep being.
But since then, how well have they done the 2 years since? I mean, the 1 year since last year. They didn't make the playoffs last year.
I mean, they need at least a little bit of help. They need a little something.
That's got to be frustrating for the defense too. How good that defense was 2 years in a row, and they'll only even make it to 1 year. They won the Super Bowl before.
And they're only getting older. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you really. I don't know if you can really trade any of those assets for a guy, because you're not getting rid of Von Miller.
Right. But so you don't get rid of Von Miller, but like Talib's getting old. So if you got rid of Talib, he would be the only one that you would be able.
That's what I'm saying. Those are like old talents now. Like you're running on, like if I'm like, oh, I'm the Cowboys, I really want him. You're banking on what, 2 years, maybe 3.
But if the Cowboys could trade for Talib, would you give up your first overall draft pick next year for Talib this year? You don't have a cornerback.
That's a different situation.
I do it.
Now. Yeah, because that's a potential Super Bowl team then. Yeah.
Von Miller?
Yeah, potential. Yeah, that's potential.
That's my point.
Maybe.
And
I don't know. Maybe there would be teams that would bite on that, but I don't know.
So you
I don't
do
know
that,
if there's a lot. But,
and then now you have your first overall pick, which is Denver is going to lose a lot more if you trade off your assets, which your first overall pick becomes very valuable, and then you take the Cowboys or whoever you trade those players to first overall picks, so then you have 2 first-round picks.
They're hitting the reset button because they don't have a quarterback.
But I'm saying, would you hit the reset button today, right now, and just unload?
No.
No? All right. No. And I think it'd be something to think about, and I think this is why I would have you as in my GM room, because we disagree on things a lot, and I need somebody to hold the reins back sometimes.
Because literally, I mean, like we just said, I mean, they just went to the Super Bowl with like no offense, so
you just got to figure out the quarterback a little bit, because you have a decent running back and good wide receivers, good offensive line.
Who's that guy with the afro we were just talking about as soon as he needs a job? He's not better than two of the dudes you got right now. Two of the hype that you got.
But how do you sign him? Because I mean, they're
No,
both on
dude.
rookie deals. I don't know. It's hard to. Well, you're not wrong.
See, they won't sign him because of the backlash. But you know, maybe they might win 3 more games. They puts them into the playoffs. I'm not saying it's gonna be great, but maybe they win 2 more games. He's not gonna be any worse. He can't be.
I don't disagree.
I don't know, man. Instead, they're just gonna keep banking on these rookies and banking on this hype train, and I guess just stay complacent, stay exactly where they've been, which is nothing since Peyton Manning retired.
So,
Well, since Osweiler left.
a franchise in a different sport that's not trying to be complacent,
What happened?
the one you're done across your chest, the Los Angeles Lakers. We just made some jokes about maybe LeBron going there. That's a different topic for a different day. But there was talks, talks, I guess, in the moment, of tampering with Magic Johnson and Paul George. Paul George ended up with Oklahoma City anyways.
Yep.
I look at the situation as Magic, before he got to the situation with the Lakers, was a mentor of some kind to a lot of these players. He sat down with a lot of them. He had dinner with a lot of them. He worked out with a lot of them.
He was a huge Paul George fan.
Yes, and he made that very clear on TV multiple times. Not just about Paul George, about a lot of these players. And he has personal relationships with them because of the way he handled his business before he was in the situation with the Lakers. He probably was pushing for them before to, hey, you could be the next Magic, you could be the next Kobe, you could be the next brand of, I'm bringing the Lakers back.
Yep.
And now he's in this position, still friends with them. I don't find it to be tampering, but I could see where the lines get blurred because Jay-Z sold his stake in the Nets for this exact reason, so he could start his sports agency as well. But I mean, he was he was friends with Kevin Durant, you know. So like, could you imagine if he was friends with Kevin Durant? He was friends with LeBron James actually when LeBron James was going from Cleveland to Miami, and a lot of people thought that would be a possibility for him to go to Brooklyn and be the. You remember that? That was a very small talk, but they were saying because they had dinner together and they hung out a lot, and Jay-Z was investigated for it, and blah 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 blah. But they were just friends. I mean, they were friends. It was just part of, you know, they became. So, as a Lakers fan.
Yep. What about it?
Do you think it's going to be a problem in the future?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the story and I was literally just met about it, I just shrugged it off. Like,
do you think they're going to take like draft picks and stuff away from them for something like this eventually, or do you think like this? Do you think this is like the NBA just trying to say, hey, we're watching?
Probably, but like I said, I mean, when I saw it, I was just like, meh, and I shrugged it off. I was like, yeah, I would agree, and it's probably tampering. I was like, yeah. I mean, I was like, there's nothing to fight. There's nothing to argue. I was like, yeah, most likely. According to everything that y'all go with, all your rules about tampering and shit, I was like, yeah, that's probably tampering. I was like, yeah, and they're going to get penalized. Are they going to lose draft picks? I don't know. Is he going to get fined? I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be something. I don't think it's not going to. It won't just be, oh, nothing's going to happen. I think something's going to happen, yeah. Because I was like, yeah, you know what? It's probably tampering, and I'm not going to argue it, and it is what it is. I don't disagree with it.
He'll be a free agent next year. Russell Westbrook will be a free agent next year. LeBron James will be a free agent next year. Carmelo Anthony will be a free agent next year. Paul George will be a free agent next year. Lonzo Ball will be there. Ingram will be there.
So is it tampering if he stops talking to him now and he signs next year anyway?
And that was my thought. I mean,
I guess technically, yeah, because you're still... because now you're tampering with two teams,
but
I guess.
I think I'm not going to speak for the Lakers or Lakers fans like yourself, but I'm saying for myself, if Magic just had to pay a fine, or you guys took a couple draft picks away, but we still got a bunch of those players, yeah, I'd be alright with it.
Yeah, considering he still has all of his pieces.
And that's my point.
He still has Lonzo, he still has Ingram, he still has...
and he could still trade them away for assets and
Randall.
Yeah, or he could keep them and they could build around with superstars.
Right. Oh well, yeah, and Magic. Well, especially now that they're looking at him, he's gonna stop
You know how I feel about the
talking
NBA.
now. So now that he's gonna stop talking.
You know how
It'd
I
be cool.
feel about the NBA. I don't like how they meddle in everyone's business with their teams and franchises, and I feel like this is just one of those they're watching. We see you.
I also know the NBA loves Magic Johnson, so maybe they'll let him get away with one, which wouldn't look good, but I mean, I can kind of see it. They see that big smile and everybody.
I mean, they covered a lot of for Phil, not as much as that. Like,
Magic, we just love that smile. You good, bro? You good? You know what? Here's a fine. You know what? Just give us some popcorn when we go to your movie theater.
You're Dwight's favorite player in the league has the same name as Dwight, and he played for the Lakers for a short bit. I'm surprised you're not wearing your Dwight Howard.
I'll say Dwight Gooden still plays in the NBA.
Jersey. So you want to? I know you had some comments on. And that, for the SoundCloud folks, that was sarcastic, and if you have never watched this before, Dwight does not like Dwight Howard. My co-host here was not a fan of Dwight Howard going to the Lakers, which shout out to him.
During, after, ever.
He didn't like it. He didn't like him being there. He didn't like him after he left with the Rockets.
I didn't like that we got rid of Andrew Bynum for him.
Dwight Howard has had some moments here and there, but
that's cute.
Last season he averaged a double-double on a team on the East that did not make the playoffs.
You know you don't have to get like 10 and 10 for a double-double, right?
Right. I think he had like 21 and 11 or 21 and 12, something like that.
I don't know his life.
But you pre-show, we were having a conversation. We're just talking back and forth, and you decided to try to tell me that we're gonna have a conversation on the show about your least favorite player. So just like I did with you with Jaheim Noah, please tell me about Dwight Howard.
Well, Dwayne Howard, number 12.
Shout out to Dwayne Wade.
Much better. Shout out to number 12. So number 12, I can't believe you didn't hear about this. Number 12 came out one day last week, and he said...
Superman.
Shaq is not playing. We're not talking about him or his son's comments about him dominating the league today. So number 12, he said, and I quote, "I'm looking to prove people wrong next year." So now I have a couple questions for you, and I just want you to say yes or no.
Okay.
Because
I like this game.
This confused me.
This is gonna be fun. I
tweeted this out.
I'm ready.
And I really wanted an answer.
Okay.
So my man said, Dwight Howard said, "I want to prove people wrong."
Yep.
And I want you to say yes, as in this is how he's going to do it, or no, that's not how he's going to do it.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to figure out how he's going to prove people wrong. Because he didn't clarify. So is he going to prove people wrong by making 3-pointers like he claims he wants to do?
No.
Okay. Is he going to prove people wrong by making free throws all of a sudden?
No. That was tougher one.
Is he?
He has a shot. He has a shot. He has a shot at fixing that.
I'm not saying don't do it just a couple percentage. I'm saying actually being good, decent.
He has to up it by 10. I don't think he can do that.
Okay, so no.
10%.
Is he going to prove people wrong by being that dominant threat inside?
He already is a dominant threat inside.
You know what I'm talking about, like he was in Orlando, like that. Holy crap! I can't go there.
No.
Okay. Is he gonna prove people wrong by caring?
I would like to see that happen, but no.
Is he gonna prove people wrong by? I'm doing finger quotes.
I know.
But is he gonna prove people wrong by not being quote lazy, as the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said he is? As Elijah Wan said he was when he tried to train him?
Because it's an 82-game season, and he might, for the first 10 games, try to show you and prove something, but after that, he's going to stop paying attention.
So I got a lot of no's. I have one more.
Okay.
Is he finally going to be happy somewhere? Because this is his third team in 3 years, and he's happy during the first couple months, and then they start losing, and they suck, and then he's like, I'm not. He literally comes out and says, I'm not happy, and then he goes to another team. So is he finally going to be happy, and he's going to stay for a couple years?
Yeah, I think he's going to stay in Atlanta for a while. It sounds like he likes Atlanta, but I don't have any inside information, nor do I know him, and you are not wrong. His track record would say the opposite direction.
So I guess same thing about Houston.
I guess that's just more hopeful for me to say that. But
he said the same thing about Atlanta.
I don't disagree. He said the same thing
about LA. You really think he's
LA.
going to say the same thing about New Orleans? At the Charlotte, excuse me, is he in New Orleans? Or, no, he's in Charlotte.
Charlotte, yeah.
Do you really think he's going to say the same thing in Charlotte? You know what's funny? And that's probably a no, but
no. Can I ask you the most? Well, you say first.
Does he realize who his owner is right now?
And maybe that's what's going to keep him. I was going to ask you to talk about that. Okay, I don't think so.
Dude, Kobe got to him.
I got a second question. Yeah, you're right.
What do you think Jordan's going to say to him?
I got a question.
4 months into the season.
I got a yes or no question. It might be the most important yes or no out of everything you said, because everything you said is very viable.
So what is he talking about?
Points about it makes no sense of what he's talking about. But here's the bottom line: yes or no? Because since Orlando, he has not won. Will it translate into winning?
Define winning. Okay, no.
Getting to the playoffs at least.
No.
And that isn't that the most important thing at the end of the day in the first place? So.
What, Kimball Walker, Dwight Howard?
In the East, maybe. You always have a shot in the East.
No, the damn Sixers are going to take the 8th.
6th.
I'm disrespecting you. I'm just saying in general. Like, yeah. So no. Even if they make it to the AC, is that an accomplishment?
No. Okay, you got to be top 5 for me to say that. Winning. To say winning.
No, that's a no.
Top 5 in the East is where I would have to put them, right? Because you agree
Right.
to define winning. Since Orlando, he hasn't been on a team that's been in the top 5 of any conference,
Any
right?
close.
No, he might have been on Houston. They were top, but that's not him. James Harden had a ridiculous year that
and
year.
He left. Because he wasn't happy.
Right, because they weren't feeding him the ball. And he was still averaging almost a double-double. He goes to Atlanta, averages a double-double. He has potential to put points up in numbers, but is it just points and numbers? If it's not translating to winning, what is it?
Is Kimball Walker going to give him the ball?
No.
So, again, Dwight Howard, what the hell, what are you going to prove exactly? I've gotten a lot of no's, and you got to know.
I'm glad that we were able to dive into that. Was fun. We should do more things like that throughout the year, Dwight, because
it's easy when I think the person's a joke.
Speaking of jokes,
Number 12.
The WWE, just like Dwight Howard, gets on your nerves a lot.
Yeah, but they didn't get on my nerves this weekend.
Oh.
Okay, that's a lie.
Oh.
You know what? I thought about that mid-sentence.
Shout out to Ric Flair. We wanted to last week and we both slipped our mind.
We're both jerks and
so we're
idiots
glad
for
he's
that.
coming back.
Yeah, he had
Up and up and
he
up.
had to slip up, but apparently
Better?
Charlotte posted something yesterday, his daughter, and she's saying basically he's good. You know, he's up and talking. Apparently, the first thing he did, in true Nature Boy fashion, he was coming at a nurse.
Of course.
He cut a promo on a nurse apparently. And I laughed so hard when I heard that because I would have loved to have seen that, especially if he was just coming out of something and he had no idea what was going on, but he was still able to do that. I feel like it would have been funny.
Sounds like Ric Flair.
I could totally just see him getting up on a rope with a bit strutting too. It'd have been funny as hell.
Sounds like Ric Flair.
I want to see him just throw the rope down and give it an elbow drop.
So,
But shout out to him though, because it was looking horrible. Like 5 days ago, it was looking absolutely bad.
yeah, absolutely.
So shout out to him.
Shout out to him.
We're glad 2017 backed up a little bit and was like, you know, you good, bro. So good.
Getting to the actual events of the WWE this weekend, SummerSlam.
Yeah, SummerSlam was solid. I thought it was actually a really good show overall.
I enjoyed it myself.
I thought it was a very solid show, and I don't think it was the greatest show of all time. But
their
it was
bigger
very
shows,
good.
the Royal Rumble last year, WrestleMania the last couple years, and I know the couple years ago WrestleMania kind of got pooped on a little bit by the fans, but overall, I come over. I don't watch the Raws and the SmackDowns, and I only watch maybe I'd say about half of the pay-per-views. But I always make sure I watch SummerSlam, the Rumble, and Mania with you, and I think very consistent shows as of late, and this was a very good one.
SummerSlam was excellent.
I
thought overall. I mean, there was a couple of duds. I mean,
yes. The Randy Orton thing was a little. We weren't fans of that.
That was just a joke in general.
But we were big fans of the Balor and Finn Balor and who do you wrestle? I'm looking at him.
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt, yeah.
I mean, the whole presentation of that was cool. I don't know if the match was great,
the match
but
was
the
alright.
presentation was cool.
But so there was highs and lows.
Yeah, Big Cass versus Big Show was absolute garbage.
Yes.
And that was definitely the dog the entire night, and most people agree with that in
The
general.
Fatal 4-Way was interesting.
That was more than interesting. That was one of the matches of the year. That's definitely going to be
Cool.
final
Glad you enjoyed that.
3 to 5.
I did too.
Just about 4 hosses out there just beating the hell out of each other.
fun.
It was
That was fun.
excellent. The women's matches were pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes.
I thought maybe.
Absolutely.
I mean, AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens was solid as well. I would have liked, in hindsight, I would have just liked Shane to have just wrestled somebody
Yeah,
instead.
he didn't really do much. He got in their faces, but that was about it.
It was
he didn't
kinda
jump off
just-
of anything, which we both expected.
It kind of felt, and now in hindsight, kind of just seemed like a throwaway thing.
There was a
like,
match
what
at
was
it
the
that we
purpose of
both.
that?
There was a match at it that we both picked the winner of. Do you remember that? It was at it Monday night, and we did the show Monday last week. Just for the WWE Championship, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was a Raw show. Remember there was one that we missed.
Well, I know it was a Divas one, but The Divas one where I didn't know who was going to face.
No, there was one that we picked as I was leaving your apartment last week.
Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
they
we both-
won.
yeah,
we both picked them off the show.
Yep.
By the way, I was 8-3 on my picks last week. I think you were 7-4 maybe.
Cool. I'll take it.
So I mean, it was cool. The only thing that I thought was BS, and most people seem to feel the same way, was the Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal thing. Since Nakamura came out, and it was like the biggest reaction of the entire night,
Yeah.
as was expected.
Place was going wild.
It's Nakamura, and he's a freaking monster, and people love him, and they completely deflated the whole situation. Which the only thing I can figure, which has nothing to do with him or the other guy, Mahal, I think it's more so they knew what was about to happen with this 4-way, and we're just like, we can make them angry because they're not going to remember this in about half hour. They're going to go home with this after this 4-way and forget all about Nakamura. But still, most people are irritated, as I think it's bullshit that he didn't win because that you don't get much higher than that for him in his situation.
He was at his peak.
Yeah, you don't like. It's a big pay-per-view. You're a big star, and you want to do it in a wrestling town. You don't want to do it and say like.
Where's WrestleMania this year?
I don't know. You don't want to do it and say freaking Hershey, PA, because Hershey, PA isn't going to react. Like, you want a wrestling crowd, like a real crowd.
I understand.
And you do that, and he's like a big name, especially from Japan. And so you want to do it around wrestling people. That's his big-ass reaction in Brooklyn. So you give him the belt in Brooklyn.
Great reaction.
And that just catapults him when he comes to Hershey, and nobody really cares. Because that momentum just carries on. And he didn't go that route, and I don't like it. So I think that's the only thing that's BS. WrestleMania, I think, is in New Orleans next year. I think.
Is that a big city? Like big wrestling city? Will they be going wild?
Not really. I mean, it's Mania, so they will be, but I mean, it's not rowdy.
People come in for it.
No, but it was a solid show. Don't really have anything negative to say about that outside of the Nakamura situation. But overall, it was a good show.
A lot of tables got broken in the last match.
Yeah, definitely. It was solid. Just a bunch of dudes beat the shit out of each other. I also didn't like that they put the Usos in a New Day on the pre-show because apparently that was like a really good match, like really, really good. But I only caught like 5 minutes of it, so I'm gonna have to look it up at some point. But I'm glad the Usos won. I think they deserved it.
Shawn Michaels came out as the KFC guy.
We don't talk about that.
Danced.
That's one thing I really can't stand about WWE.
Promo.
He didn't even do a promo.
No,
He just came out and danced. But I can't stand WWE. When you hit a certain age with WWE...
He owed it to Triple H.
Dude, I don't know. This shit don't make no sense. When you hit a certain age in WWE, you eventually just lose your balls as a wrestler. No matter how great you were, no matter how many titles you won. Eventually, when you hit a certain age in WWE and you're retired, you all of a sudden, no matter how recent your retirement is, you turn into a punk and or a joke. I'm honestly surprised somebody didn't come out and just get in his face because usually when that happens, what I'm talking about, like they're literally like, oh, all of a sudden now I can't fight even though I'm Shawn Michaels and I just retired like a couple years ago. Or they become a joke, which is what he was last night. Which I mean, he was obviously cool with it, and it was ha ha. But
it was funny.
But that wouldn't have happened
10 years.
10 years ago.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's like
the Attitude Era, even 20 years ago.
So I was like, really? I don't know. It's just fucking to me.
It was cool. It was a cool show. Shout out to our SummerSlam viewers. That was a joke.
So, last week we talked about how going from SummerSlam in Brooklyn, flying out to Vegas is going to be rough for Vince for this for the other big event he's got going on this week, McGregor Mayweather. So even if it's not staged,
we really got to talk about this fight too.
Neither of us are excited for this fight.
No.
But we're both going to watch
Isn't that
it.
some shit? Like this is supposed to be like this is the
We're
title of our
boxing
show.
guys.
I love boxing, but this isn't a boxing match.
1 month from now, Triple G, Canelo.
I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that. I'm more excited to get this over with because that means that there's 3 weeks before the fight that I really, really want
I like
to see.
watching Mayweather fight.
Do I have to buy that one too?
I don't like Mayweather as a human.
Huh. I put money towards the Canelo ones.
McGregor sort of annoys me.
He's starting to annoy me more and more. Maybe I'm just bitter because of my ex, but he just annoys the hell out of me.
He's always kind of annoying me, even though I'm an Irish guy.
And this guy, I noticed that last year when he got, after the Ortiz thing, when he got his ass beat, or was it Ortiz? Whoever the hell it was. When he got his ass beat, and he was just like, I was like, bro, he just got knocked out. You just got that wake-up check. Why
I think that
why
he's
you still
funny.
talking shit?
I think that he's funny. I like listening to his press conferences. I like listening to Mayweather's press conferences. I find them to be entertaining.
I haven't watched a single one of these. Have you?
Yeah, I watched some of the Showtime things that they've done, and I watched the press bits and pieces of the press conferences. I think they were funny.
Highlights.
Shout out to McGregor doing the
fall.
444. He brought out Jay-Z's album when they went to Brooklyn. I thought that was pretty funny. Shout out to Jay-Z.
Yay. He made a New York reference. Speaking of, really quick, we didn't talk about that. Speaking of Big Cass and Big Show.
Oh. I'll let you in. I mean,
Speaking of Brooklyn.
John Cena wrote a rap for
Speaking of Brooklyn.
Big Cass and Big Cass.
And random guys trying to make New York references because they're in New York.
John Cena wrote that rap, I'm convinced.
Why did my man Enzo Amore come
That's
out?
how fire it was.
This man cut like a 5 to 10 minute promo, and all he did, mind you, and he's so Mr. New York, just like McGregor is apparently.
He shout out to The Rock, though.
People's Champ? Oh, no. Oh, Rock Nation. Oh, alright.
Rockefeller Records.
He's such a big New Yorker. You know that
Derrick Rose jersey?
I'm censoring myself.
He had a Derrick Rose jersey on.
My man's from Jersey.
Derrick Rose plays for Cleveland.
He's from Jersey. But every other line he was saying was a New York / Brooklyn reference, and the crowd gave him absolutely nothing. So,
Yo, shout out to Jay-Z. He did a interview, and he
this segment's all over the place, huh?
was talking about people like you who get at him about the whole Nets thing. He thought he thinks it's funny that
It really is all over the place.
he thinks it's funny that like because you were saying about like you kind of like you always not diss him, but you always just got like you always make like a subtle reference about how like he didn't own him that long, and like he went on to bigger and better things.
Because
Like,
it's facts.
He
It's not a diss, it's a fact.
But he didn't want to make money off of it, and
And
as
then what do you do it for? It's not a diss, it's a fact.
to put it into the borough, like okay, but everyone says Jay-Z's only about money, right? But then he moves a team into Brooklyn just to do it for the people in his area to create jobs. He built a building, he did all this stuff, got no money off of it, because he just wanted to do it for the community, and then he gets clowned for it. So he's like, which way do the people want it? I'm just saying, like
I hit a top 5 trigger word. I know, cool, it's cool, but cool.
no, I forgot to tell you that earlier because like it's something you always get on him for, and it's crazy.
I really don't even care.
He did a Rap Radar interview, and he actually opened up really a lot on it, the way he did in the album.
It's a joke, relax. I really don't care.
But the way he went about, I thought it was cool because we just talked about it last week, and it's almost like he watched Shady Sports and addressed it right to Dwight. Anyways,
Then we did more than 10 views. I doubt it.
maybe Ho was watching.
I doubt it. I really don't care to get rid of Brooklyn. It's just a joke. I don't care.
Um,
It's a joke. It's a joke on the Nets part.
back to
Back to McGregor. Speaking of a joke, because of that whole Brooklyn thing, even though he's from Ireland.
so we both think that Mayweather's gonna win.
I don't even know how you analyze this. Like, how do you even analyze
Do you
this?
think McGregor gets one clean, solid punch on Mayweather? Do you think he touches him once? He touches him, but do you think he like gets an actual full-on punch, a clean punch, glove to the face?
Does Mayweather get caught on a turnbuckle and he caught like that's it. That's the only way I see it. Like he just gets stuck for some reason for like a brief moment and he hits and McGregor punches him in the rib as he's trying to sneak away.
I think
That's
Mayweather
it.
out-punches him by 200 plus.
Does he even throw a punch?
I think that'd be funny.
Does Mayweather throw a punch?
Maybe Mayweather.
Does anybody throw a punch?
Maybe Mayweather wins 1-0. He lands one punch and doesn't swing for the rest of the bout.
And after all this hype and all this trash talk, what did he do? Smile and hug.
Oh, they're gonna.
And they're gonna be
toast
arm
some
in
glass.
arm as they're doing the post
Toast some
interviews.
glass.
But I hate you.
I got a lot of respect for him. I got a lot of respect for him. He's the greatest boxer of all time. Let's say. Let's say he's the greatest boxer. He's 50-0
fighter of all time.
50-0. He's the greatest boxer of all time. McGregor, we'll say that.
Dude, I don't.
Or if McGregor goes 1-0 against the 49-0 guy, does he become the greatest boxer of all time? He's the GOAT, right? He becomes the GOAT. We come on here talking next Tuesday or next Monday or whenever we do our show, and we'll be talking about how he's the GOAT.
Is it next?
Ali and Tyson might have nothing.
Is it next Monday yet? I'm trying to be I'm trying to really think like how do you analyze this?
They dropped the gloves.
How do you analyze?
They dropped
this?
the gloves from 10 to 8, so that means nothing.
It means absolutely nothing to me. He's not. McGregor's not a fighter. Can we like?
Well, he's a fighter. He's not a boxer.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's not.
He's exactly a fighter.
He's not a puncher. He's not a boxer. This is so stupid to me. This is so stupid to me. Logic says this makes no sense. This is nothing but hype, and the ignorance of all these people that are so hype about it don't see that.
So many
and if they
people
do
have-
see that, they don't care. But then they want to shit on that we just talked about SummerSlam.
As of this
How does that
recording-
work?
As of this recording, the opening line was plus like 1,500 for
That's ridiculous.
Mayweather, and it shrunk down to just 300 as of this recording because so many people bet on McGregor.
Right.
That means you will actually, if you put $20 down on Mayweather, win money. Like you will actually get like $17 back in return, which he will probably win. Like this is the easiest bet
It's the dumbest thing
bettors
in the
have
world.
ever been making.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Unless somebody on the inside knows that Mayweather's going to throw it, because the one way they could do this is he could just throw the fight and make all the money in the world, because it was the biggest odds ever going into a fight.
Weren't you saying NCAA is the most corrupt sport then?
Well, boxing probably is more corrupt, but boxing's independent contractors. These are all independent guys, where the NCAA has a bunch of independent contractors that they're not paying. They're basically like our president making people build hotels for free. That's a joke.
How many rounds is this? Do we even know?
12.
Holy shit. Aren't they like 3-minute rounds?
Yes.
Yeah. 12, 3.
And McGregor
Is it
only
going
has
on
done.
12? It
McGregor
has
has
to.
only
They're not
done.
going to hit each other.
McGregor's only done 4 fights that were 3-minute rounds, and they were all 5 rounds. That's it, and none of them went the distance.
Right.
He's never
He's
gone
not
the
conditioned.
distance.
He has no, dude, by round 4,
Mayweather's
he's
going
going
to
to be
be
so winded.
Mayweather's going to be doing backflips, and by round 4, you're right.
People say all the time.
McGregor should be falling, puking, unless all he's doing is running. Unless all this man has been doing for the last 6 months is just
It doesn't
running.
matter. No, it doesn't matter. People say all the time, and it's true with all sports, especially. There's preparing for that, but then there's actually doing it, and
How
then
many
you're like, holy crap!
Right.
Brock Lesnar tried the NFL once,
Right.
and Brock Lesnar's a monster.
How many
and he said it was the hardest thing he ever did in
How
his
many
life.
sparring matches do you think he can go through? And do you think it will ever simulate the real thing about being in a boxing match with Mayweather?
First of all, I saw him hitting a punching bag, and I was like, "What is he doing?" I saw him air jabbing, and I was
Yeah, his
like, "What are
punches
you
aren't-
doing?" I was like, "You throwing a punch like I was when I was
They're
like
awkward punches.
today or
They're
when I was
awkward punches.
4." No, I can't see him. I can't see how you prepare for this if you're him. He's never trained like this. He trains to do whatever type
To
of
grab somebody on the ground and then beat him up.
right. And I don't know his exact style, but he's not a boxer, so he doesn't. He's never done this outside of these past however many months it's been.
So you're taking Mayweather.
Yeah. And if it's God, do I even want to go 12? Do I really want to sit here for
It's gonna go
rounds?
12 rounds.
Holy shit.
I don't see either of them knocking the other one out.
Me neither. But McGregor's gonna be, and who knows? Mayweather might be out of shape, might be winded too. He hasn't boxed in a while. He's gonna be in better shape just because he's been there.
Boxer, he's done this a million times.
But he's gonna be feeling it a little bit.
49 times actually.
And he runs, so he's really gonna be tired. Maybe by rounds 8, they actually might be hitting each other because they both are tired. They're gonna be standing there. They can't run.
But Mayweather can stand there and
He gonna bob and weave, yeah.
he doesn't
Is he
have to
gonna
run
rope a
around.
dope him?
He doesn't have to run around.
There'll be some shit if he got one, and he did the alley and had a rope a dope, and McGregor actually got some punches. This is not happening. I'm just talking because I don't know how else to
Maybe he
analyze
wants
this.
to put a show on.
It would be entertaining. That'd be entertaining. God, I can't wait till this is over.
5 weeks left in baseball. The wild card races are getting pretty tight. As of this recording, the Diamondbacks have free-falled, so that became the NL wild card race became really close. I think they only have three games left, with about 40-some games to go. So the AL, I think like the Blue Jays are like the 7th team out, and they're only 5 games out. So there is a lot of good baseball going on. I'm sure we'll start talking about that here in the upcoming weeks. College football rankings came out. Alabama was number 1. Ohio State was number 2.
Of course they were.
I think
Of course they
Alabama and Ohio State obviously are the cream of the
Same
crop.
old, same old.
We'll definitely talk some college football next week because that opens up the week after. We'll talk some baseball coming up, as I was just alluding to. The NFL is getting very close. Week 3 of preseason is as of the week of this recording, so
Yeah, we got an NFL preview coming at some point.
really soon.
Yeah, it would have to be what, next week or the week after?
The week after I would assume would probably be our preview. So we have a lot coming up in the sense of sports, and then the NBA
Yeah,
starts.
real sports.
The NBA starts 2 weeks early this year in October, so all we have to do is bridge the gap through September, and we have a boxing match, plus I'll be on vacation for a week during that time frame. So
We're gonna have all football in September.
a lot of football going on as well, college, NFL, baseball will be ramping up. So I mean, we have a lot here in the next coming weeks.
Yeah, a lot of real sports, stuff to look forward to. A real fight to look forward to, yeah.
I'm excited for the party atmosphere that we will have.
That's all it is. It's just an
On
excuse
Saturday
to have a party.
night.
Literally.
We will have a very good time together.
Even though the real party should be 3 weeks later, and it's not going to be.
Party don't start till I walk in.
I don't get it. Why is nobody talking about that fight, dude?
America's fixated on the
Wrestling.
wrong things usually.
Wrestling. But they refuse to admit that that's what they're infatuated
But
with.
isn't America usually distracted by something?
And they don't realize it?
So, I mean, to that point, there you go. We're on the same page. The boxing-wise, we are both very excited for Triple G and Canelo.
But nobody's hyped about that.
I think that's going to actually be like a real fight. That'll be a really
That's
fun
not even a
match to
conversation.
watch. We will have a very long, probably, topic to talk about when that comes up.
Yeah. I can actually analyze that a little bit instead of just dropping shit out of the air.
So, well, here we go. We're not far off.
I don't get it, dude.
I'm excited. This is episode 3 of season 3. This has been fun so far. We're getting into it, Dwight. JD Sports on the ride.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for watching. I'm Jared Hood. That's Dwight.
My name is Prince Iron Funky.